The name Uber has become synonymous with ride-sharing worldwide. Millions use the app to get from one place to another at the tap of a button, and it's hard to imagine a time before the convenience it offers. But beneath its success lies a history tainted with scandals and controversies, many of which threaten to overshadow the company's achievements. From legal battles to cultural problems within its workforce, Uber has been a lightning rod for criticism, raising serious questions about ethics, worker treatment, and corporate governance. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into the dark secrets of Uber. We'll explore some of the biggest scandals that have rocked the company and discuss how these issues reveal deeper problems within the tech and gig economies. Let's begin. Uber started with a revolutionary idea using technology to connect passengers with drivers. What began as a luxury black car service in San Francisco quickly transformed into a ride-hailing app accessible to anyone. The company expanded rapidly, disrupting the traditional taxi industry and reshaping how people move in cities around the globe. But with this rapid expansion came a host of problems. Uber was often accused of ignoring or outright violating local regulations regarding taxi services. The company's aggressive growth strategy relied on entering markets without necessarily adhering to the rules. In numerous cities, Uber launched without proper permits or licenses for its drivers, often clashing with regulators. They framed themselves as rebels, disrupting a stagnant industry, but critics saw it differently, a company flaunting laws to expand its reach and revenue. This aggressive approach earned Uber significant backlash, including legal challenges from taxi unions and governments. Yet, it was only the tip of the iceberg. One of the most alarming practices to come to light was Uber's use of a secretive tool known as Greyball. This tool was designed to evade authorities by identifying and targeting regulators who might be investigating the company. It allowed Uber to present a fake version of the app to law enforcement officials, ensuring that they couldn't book rides and catch drivers operating illegally in cities where Uber hadn't yet received proper clearance. The implications of this were serious. Not only was Uber actively deceiving governments, but it was also preventing meaningful regulation of its services, which could lead to dangerous situations for passengers. When the New York Times exposed the Greyball program in 2017, it caused widespread outrage. While Uber claimed it was intended to protect drivers from sting operations, many saw it as a clear example of the company's willingness to skirt the law in the pursuit of profits. This scandal became a major tipping point, sparking a series of investigations into Uber's business practices, further tarnishing its reputation. At the heart of Uber's success lies a corporate culture that many have described as cutthroat and toxic. The most notable example of this came in 2017, when Susan Fowler, a former engineer at Uber, published a blog post detailing the rampant sexism and harassment she experienced while working at the company. Her post painted a picture of a workplace where inappropriate behavior was not only tolerated but often went unchecked. Fowler's revelations were shocking, yet they were hardly an isolated incident. Reports soon surfaced about a pervasive culture of misogyny, bullying, and retaliation against employees who spoke out about mistreatment. Female employees, in particular, described a hostile environment where they felt sidelined and discriminated against. Following Fowler's blog post, an internal investigation led by former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder uncovered further evidence of widespread misconduct. This eventually resulted in the firing of several high-level executives, but it also raised serious questions about Uber's leadership and the values it promoted. One name that comes up repeatedly in discussions of Uber scandals is Travis Kalanick, the company's co-founder and former CEO. Kalanick was known for his hard-charging approach and aggressive leadership style, which many believe helped Uber grow at such a rapid pace. However, his brash personality and willingness to push boundaries also made him a lightning rod for controversy. Kalanick's leadership was often criticized for promoting a win-at-all-cost mentality, which many believe contributed to the toxic workplace culture. He was involved in several public incidents that damaged his reputation, including a viral video in which he was caught berating an Uber driver who complained about declining pay. This incident led many to question whether Kalanick had any empathy for the very workers who made his company successful. As Uber's scandals mounted, pressure grew for Kalanick to step down. In June 2017, following a series of high-profile controversies, including the Greyball scandal and allegations of sexual harassment within the company, Kalanick resigned as CEO. However, many of Uber's underlying problems remained. One of the most contentious issues surrounding Uber is its treatment of drivers. Uber classifies its drivers as independent contractors rather than employees, which allows the company to avoid providing benefits such as health insurance, paid time off, and unemployment protection. This classification has been the subject of numerous legal battles, with drivers arguing that they should be treated as employees, given the amount of control Uber exerts over their work. Critics argue that Uber's model exploits drivers by shifting financial risk onto them while denying them the rights and protections afforded to traditional employees. In many countries, drivers have launched lawsuits to challenge this classification. One of the most high-profile cases occurred in the UK, where in 2021, the Supreme Court ruled that Uber drivers are workers, entitling them to minimum wage and vacation pay. This was a landmark decision that could have far-reaching consequences for Uber and other companies in the gig economy. However, despite legal setbacks in some regions, Uber continues to fight for the contractor model, fearing that reclassifying drivers as employees would drastically increase costs and impact its bottom line. Surge pricing is another aspect of Uber's business that has attracted criticism. The idea behind surge pricing is simple: when demand for rides increases, prices go up. While Uber argues that this encourages more drivers to hit the road during peak times, many customers and drivers have voiced concerns about the system. During emergencies, natural disasters, or crises, surge pricing has led to outrage. For example, when terrorist attacks or severe weather events occur, passengers have been charged exorbitant fares to escape dangerous situations. Critics have accused Uber of exploiting vulnerable people in these moments, prioritizing profits over public safety. Although Uber has implemented caps on surge pricing during emergencies following public backlash, the company's handling of these situations has left a lasting stain on its reputation. In addition to its legal and ethical issues, Uber has faced several scandals related to data security and privacy. One of the most notable incidents occurred in 2016, when Uber experienced a massive data breach that exposed the personal information of 57 million riders and drivers. Rather than disclosing the breach at the time, Uber chose to cover it up, paying the hackers $100,000 to delete the stolen data and keep quiet. When the breach was finally revealed a year later, it caused a firestorm of criticism. Not only had Uber failed to protect its users' data, but it had also actively concealed the breach from the public and regulators. The company eventually settled with the Federal Trade Commission (FTC) and agreed to increased oversight of its privacy practices, but the damage to its reputation was done. This wasn't the only time Uber found itself in hot water over privacy issues. The company has also faced scrutiny for its use of tracking technologies, including a controversial program known as God View, which allowed employees to track the locations of riders in real time. This raised serious concerns about the misuse of personal data and the potential for abuse within the company. While Uber has undeniably revolutionized the way we travel, its journey has been anything but smooth. The company's history is marred by scandals, legal battles, and ethical dilemmas that have cast a shadow over its success. From the use of grayball to evade authorities, to its toxic workplace culture and treatment of drivers, Uber's dark secrets have raised important questions about corporate responsibility and the gig economy. The controversies surrounding Uber serve as a cautionary tale for other tech companies. As we continue to rely on these platforms in our daily lives, it's crucial to ask ourselves whether the convenience they offer comes at too high a cost. Uber's story is still unfolding, but one thing is clear: the company's future will depend not only on its ability to innovate, but also on its willingness to confront and address the dark secrets of its past.